welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love, for your support. If you are new to the channel, you're welcome. And if you have not subscribed, I would appreciate for you to hit on the subscribe button. Okay, you can follow me on all of my social media platforms, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all at Stylish Naija. And then in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut this corset dress, this corset gown. So that's what we're going to learn how to do today. It is a simple dress, so let's just get started. Before we start, if you want to register for my online class, which I normally run every month, you can just see my number scrolling through the screen. Send me a message on WhatsApp, and then I'll give you the details of the classes we have presently available. Let's just get started straight into the tutorial for today. Okay guys, so let's get started straight. So these are the basic patterns that I'm going to be making use of. This is the back bodice, this is the front bodice. So I'm going to be making use of this corset. I'll use like the easiest corset pattern, so that's the one of placing our cups. So before I continue, I'm going to come to my, these are all of the lines that I have. This is my bust point, my under bust, my waist, and then this is my chest line. So I'm going to come to the chest line. I'll measure half of an inch. So you can actually use 1 inch for this, depends on how wide you want that center to be. So for this, I'm using half of an inch. So I just marked it and then connect it to a straight line. So I'll take my cups like this. So this is like to give me as a guide, so to make sure that my cup don't come in and it does not. So I'll place it on that point, and then I'll place it on this under bust line. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to check for my bust point. So my bust point, I'm using 11 inches for my bust point. So I have 11 inches here at the center, and then the under is 14.5, which is okay. So I'm placing it like that. I'm placing it like that, so my cup is okay, sitting properly. So the next thing, I'm going to try and mark out my cup. So in marking out my cup, here's what I will do. I'll use this place here, that half of an inch, that point. So I'll trace this out like this. And then when I trace it, once I get to this point, I'm just going to blend this into my armhole area like this. Okay, so that is done. The next thing I'm going to do now, from this top part, I'm going to mark out my cup. So marking out my cup, I just want to get the roundness of the cup. So from this point, if you notice, it is like a plunging neckline. So I'm going to come to this point like this, and then I'm going to do this. So the cup, so it's coming as deep as to the bust point line. So I'll just create like a V here like this. Okay, so after creating the V here, my cup is still on here. I'm just going to take this like this, and then I'll blend it into this point so you can see. So I have the roundness of my cups like this, and it comes in here. So the next thing is for us to take our yoke before we cut out. So for the yoke, you can see it is like a Queen Anne yoke. So my neckline is already here, so I'm going to be making use of this shoulder part. So the next thing depends on how wide I want it to be at this down part. Okay, so for this down part, for my Queen Anne, from this armhole area, I'm going to use about 3 inches. So the 3 inches is going to stop here. So what I'm going to do, just check, see what I'm going to do. So first of all, I'll use my straight pattern like this to curve this into that chest line point like this. So you can see it is curved into this chest line point. But if you notice, it is not really entirely straight. It is a little bit round. So I'll now use my pattern curve to like give it a little bit of roundness. Okay, so you can see. So at the end of the day, this is how it is going to be. So the next thing, now in cutting out, I'm not going to cut on this exact line. I'm not going to cut on this exact point. So I'm going to come up by like half of an inch. So that half of an inch, if you cut it exactly like this, it will be too big. Okay, so I'll just blend it into this point like this. This is where we're going to cut out. The next thing, we're going to take out our dart. So for the dart, I'll use half of my bust pan measurement, which is 4.9, which is 4.5. So I'll mark my 4.5 like this. to this point, and then I'm going to connect it with a straight ruler like this. Okay, so the next thing now that I'm going to do for this dart, I'm going to take out just about half of an inch from the dart, just half inches. And then for this down part, I'm going to create a basque effect for my top. That's the top bodice. So from this part, I'm checking how many inches I have from the waist part, which is about 7. So if you notice, it is not a very straight basque. So that 7 inches is okay. I'm just going to place my pattern curve like this, and then I'm going to give it a beautiful curve like this. So I've created a basque effect. If I want a straight basque, here's what I'm going to do. If I want a sharp straight basque, here's what I'm going to do, and then I'll create my basque effect. So you can see how simple and easy this is. So we're taking the curved basque, so we'll curve this out like this, and then we're going to cut out. So I'll cut this out now for you to see. So first of all, I'm cutting out my yoke. So just watch and see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making use of here. So you can see what we have. The next thing now, we're going to cut out our cups, which is very important. Okay, and then I'm going to open up my dart. So you can see, you see it is sitting well, nicely on top of it. So the next thing, so we have the top part of our bodies. I'll just open this and then check with my cups. So it looks good. So you can see the plunging part. So when this sits here, I have that sharpness. And then I'm just going to open it for you so you can see it properly before we continue. And then I'll have my yoke like this so you can see. It's looking like what we have on the picture, right? So you can see. So you see. So we are done with this. So the next thing, so for the sleeve, you're just going to add your normal straight sleeve pattern. So I hope you can see. Just add your normal straight sleeve. Okay, so after cutting, so this is how it looks like. So for the center part, I'm still going to open the center because I'm going to add boning here. So you have it in two ways. You can decide to open it, you can decide not to open it. You can just use your boning um, fabric or whatever you are using to just create your boning line. So you can see it looks like what we have. And then for the sleeve, so I'm just use a straight basic sleeve so you can see here. So the next thing is for us to add this basque, for us to add it on our skirt pattern. So for the basque, I'm going to highlight it more. I noticed it's not very sharp. It's not as sharp as I want it to be. So the next thing now, I'm going to take my pattern like this. Adding a basque to your dress is a very simple process, okay? So here's what you will do. You take it like this and then you place it here. Make sure you leave a little bit this center, just make sure that it's staying there. And then make sure you have a little bit of allowance here. So it depends on how deep you want it to come into your skirt pattern. So that is what you will do. All you are going to do, you are just going to trace this like this. You trace that basque, you trace it here, and when you trace it, don't cut on this line. You come up with as much as 1 inch to half of an inch. Okay, so half of an inch is ideal. Don't cut on that straight line. If you cut it on that straight line, it's going to give you problems. So after tracing, you just cut it like this, and then you cut this out like this. So when you cut this out, this is what you are going to have. So you can see, you see it fitting into that point properly, and then this side is looking like that. And then, so I'm just going to clear my table. So for the back, before we go, the back pattern. So for the back is just a normal back for this thing, and so you don't want to add, except you want to add that pattern to the back. But if you don't want to add that pattern to the back, here's what you are going to do. If you want to add the same pattern, you can do it the same, but most times it's not usually fine. Just use your normal yoke. So I'll come down by 8 inches for my yoke. So I've marked that 8 inches. So this is going to be for my yoke. And then the next thing, I'm going to reduce my back part. I'm going to reduce it, because if you want to add loops to it, so you reduce it like that. And then from this part, it depends on how much what you want. Depends on, you can create any style you want for the back of your pattern. So you can see this goes in, you can just create this out like this. Okay, you can actually shape it however you want to shape it. Okay, and then we'll cut it like this. And then, so at the end of the day, you see how the back pattern is going to look like. It's going to look like this queen hand, but don't do this normal straight one. It's just better for you to curve it like this. It is better and it is finer. Okay, so guys, we are almost done with the tutorial for today. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, so I've assembled everything together, so you can see how our corset pattern looks like with our queen and yoke. So you can see the sleeve, just use your normal basic sleeve, and then add your shoulder pad, yes. And then, so thank you so much. This is the back piece. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.